Hello everyone, we are back for some more Darkest Dungeon Let's Play. I had a good response to my last video, so this one I'm going to do something, well at least I'm going to try to do a little something. Because I did a lot of character analysis in the last one, you know, just analyzing character designs. And so I decided for this one I will see about doing some enemy analysis. You know, take a look at the design of some of the enemies, specifically some of the humanoid ones. But I'll probably comment on all of them. It's a beautiful thing about a turn-based game is, you know, I can just stop combat and be like, okay, now let's take a look at this guy. Anyway, so we are going to pick us a mission to go to. Let's go to, say, I want human enemies. Cove, probably not the best idea. I guess some show up in the Warrens? Actually, you know what? There are some Cove enemies I want to talk about. It's a medium-length mission, though. Where to look, where to look? Ooh. Maybe later. Don't really want to do a long one right off the bat. So I guess let's go to the Warrens. Alright, who should we bring? Let's bring our low-level people. Yeah, I think we should be good. Whoa, don't need quite that many. This is a short one, so I shouldn't need too many supplies. Yeah, I should be good. But yeah, in general, I really do like the enemy design in this game. I think the character designs are fairly creative, even though they do rely on a lot of fairly well-established fantasy and horror enemy types, you know, such as undead, various forms of just generic monsters or cultists.
They breed quickly down there in the dark, but perhaps we can slay them even faster.
But I do feel like they give a decent amount of their own creative approach to it. Ooh. These are things that I can do a good thing with. Actually, what does Winded do? Sorry if I'm being a little slow and quiet today. It's been a long day. Yeah, let's just have you do it. Burn the scrolls! And her slow reflexes are gone.
Such blockages are unsurprising. These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers.
I should have brought more shovels. Okay, so let's have a look at these guys. They're one of the, you know, pig mutant type monsters. Humanoid and beast. They've got a little shield and a hook instead of a hand. They've got this kind of gladiator-style helmet, and that's really about it in terms of armor. They've got some chains and some metal spikes they've like just tied to themselves. So they do give off this sense of kind of having a scavenged set of equipment, you know, not really anything. Maybe the hook is custom made, but even then, like a hook like that doesn't show signs of this is something they specifically, you know, built. I'm not sure why I did that. Well, it makes Molly tougher. And the just loincloth and piecemeal armor does give a sense of this is all scavenged equipment they've just kind of slapped together in some semblance of actual armor and weaponry. And then the design of the characters themselves, they're a bit... Yeah, the proportions are significantly off compared to the human ones. Their legs are shorter, their torsos are longer, their heads are bigger, they got these big gangly arms, which is only exaggerated by the hook. And, you got the pig snout with the tusks. Otherwise, their face is covered, but, you can kind of get the sense that they don't maybe like being seen because they've got the big helmet covering their head. I don't know, that may just be conjecture, but it's an interesting thing to note. And overall, the idea of the sort of the pig mutant guys, the swine, as an enemy type, are kind of neat. I mean, that's not something I've seen in any other sort of fantasy or horror game much. Like, there are boar people in some fantasy settings, like Iron Kingdoms comes to mind with the Pharaoh, and Warcraft had some piggy type people. But they were more of an established race and civilization, whereas these mutants are definitely, even in the lore of the game, they're not something that existed beforehand and have a society. They're just creations of the ancestor. We'll talk more about the pigs later. Let's have a look at these bandits. So the brigands all, their look is very sort of late medieval period, because, like, alright, let's take a look at the cutthroat. He's got a breastplate with a fald over a tunic. He's got a hood, and he's got this collar, plus gauntlets that are wrapped, and boots. So, definitely very much looks like, a fighter, a solid sort of melee combatant type. He's got these two big swords. Well, big knives, really. Small swords. And they've got the kind of bobbing up and down, ready for battle type of pose. Their faces are not really obscured. Like, their eyes are obscured by the hood, but you can still get a good look at their faces. And they look, like fairly nondescript, whitish Europeans. In the comment I got on the last video, they mentioned how some of the bandits, based on the difficulty, they'll have different color schemes that make them look a bit more like darker skinned or lighter skinned. I haven't seen a whole lot of those personally. I think on my other game I've seen some of the higher difficulty ones that have a bit more of a darker complexion, which I guess you could read as Spanish, like a Spanish Moor. I'll probably get more into that when I start actually seeing those. But overall, okay, I guess now we should mention the rifleman. So the rifleman has, kind of a musket. Oh, actually looks a bit more like a blunderbuss, but sort of, well, now he's dead. But, they've got a, mid-1500s era gun. Like most of the rest of this game, it's definitely somewhere between probably 16 and 1500, or not 16 and 1500, more like, probably like 1500 and 1800 maybe. Not a very specific time period, but, enough that they can put in what they want. And yeah, dang it, I wish I hadn't killed him so quickly, because I could have said more about him. Just head this way. Who has the best chance to disarm the trap? I think it's gonna be Chris the Jester. Because he's got a guitar. Oh, fight coming up. Let's see what we get. Okay, here's some guys I wanted to talk about. Okay, so start off with, we've got a skeleton. Now, skeletons are just about as old as fantasy. You know, even way back in the early days of D&D and chainmail, probably, you had skeletons. You know, they're just a great generic sort of baddie. You look at this skeleton, he doesn't wear any armor, really. He's just kind of got some pants held on with a rope. And he's got a club and this sort of leather strap. And you can kind of see the remains of shoes or some sort of foot wrappings on him. So overall, it looks like what this does do is it gives the idea of this is not a warrior skeleton. This is just a reanimated corpse. Probably grabbed the club off of something. This was probably a commoner. Bone rabble even says, you know, giving this impression of it was just a lower class human person that's come back from the dead. Now the cultists, it's kind of the neat thing. I kind of dig the cultist design. The helmet is kind of neat. They both share the same sort of mask helmet situation, where it's got the sort of half skull with the, I guess that's like kind of a icon for that Darkest Dungeon uses. I mean, it's sort of the stress icon, but clearly has some sort of cultist significance. Also, they both have the same belt. They both have the same sort of skirt arrangement going on. The belt and just this whole decoration with the ropes and the, I'm not sure what you would call that, around the skirt, gives it a bit of an Asian look, I think. I'm not a historian, so it isn't really my area of expertise, but it gives kind of the impression of, like, I'm trying to remember the proper term, but the big circular disc in the center, plus just the skirt below with the ropes in front, does remind me of certain Chinese and Japanese older outfits I've seen. An interesting thing to note is that the Brawler's disc appears pretty much unadorned, whereas the Acolytes, you can barely see. It looks like the central bit is actually carved into a skull. I think it is anyway, because you can kind of see the eye there. But basically the only difference in their outfits, not counting, you know, the Brawler's weapons, is the Acolyte, being a woman, has, you know, something covering her chest, whereas this guy does not. And I mean, from a representational standpoint, yeah, it's a little bit, I don't know, because it is kind of, is that really cleavage? I don't know. It's an exposed chest to a certain degree, even though the breasts are covered. I don't feel like the character is meant to be overly sexy, though, if that makes sense. But again, not really my call. As far as keeping the outfits similar, it does a good job without, you know, having to put in a topless character, other than the Brawler, but having to put in a topless woman. They could have given her more covering up top, but I'm not really sure if that would have made that much of a difference. Overall, I feel like these are good cultist designs. They definitely feel like they have more of a basis in fantasy than any sort of actual European, you know, occult group of the time period. At least I certainly can't think of one that they're particularly reminiscent of. Because, like, the skull mask with the, I guess, you know, you could call that a halo. It's not really a sun disk type of decoration. And there's a lot of different cultures that would use the sun disk as a representation of, you know, a divine sign. But pairing that with the skull mask, I'm pretty sure is solely a thing done in fantasy. Otherwise, in terms of design, you know, you've got the Brawler who looks, you know, big and muscular. He's got these, you know, exposed arms with defined musculature, exposed chest with defined musculature. Plus he's got these big, nasty claw weapons, which, yeah, they make him look mean, you know, make him look scary. He's got a very sort of intimidating stance. The Acolyte, again, her role is a bit better, or is a bit well communicated, because she has this sort of, I'm not really sure what that is. Like, I've always kind of interpreted it as a staff, but it's not really a staff. It's like a sacrificial dagger, it looks more like. But she holds it upside down, so it's not really... gives kind of the sense that this isn't a dagger she really fights with. And she holds it a bit more like you would a staff or a scepter. And the way her skirt kind of flows more, I think does a good job of differentiating her from the brawler as well, in addition to just her overall size and layout. So yeah, let's beat their asses. Actually, let's go ahead and heal up Chris a bit. He's taking some damage, and I have been letting him take the damage rather than paying attention and healing him properly. Oh no!
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
What I feel is just really good artistic direction in this game is how well the characters are designed.
Trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
And just the way they look and the way their design reads.
The light, the promise of safety.
Yeah, I love the narrator, but he's interrupting me sometimes. But the way all the characters are designed is really good, and that shows just in how, with one frame of animation, because he just goes from his idle animation to you have one frame of him hitting something, and that reads very well as, you know, oh, they're doing an action. Yeah, that is literally from idle animation to single frame of something going on, back to idle animation. And the idle animations, again, they look really good, even though they're really just... I mean, I'm not an animator, but I am pretty sure that that is just a single drawing, and that they made several frames of animation for... Looks like probably... It looks really smooth, is the thing, too. So it's probably like maybe 5 or 6 individual frames of animation that were probably just made by moving bits around in a video editing program or a photo editing program. And I really love the animation in this game because it feels like I said, it feels so smooth and just, I don't know, it's really well done. And the size change and the way they use background effects to imply movement just really makes the sort of still image shot of the various animations. Because, yeah, there was no actual animation there. That was just the frame of the jester in the attack with the little particle effect of the... what is that called? But of the sort of the implied movement of the knife. And it's one of those things that, you know, technically, yeah, it's a shortcut, but it just works so well, and it looks so good, and is so in keeping with the rest of with the spirit of the game. And I do not have anything to cure that, so I'll feed him a bit. Do you have anything I need to get rid of? Egomania? It's probably not a big deal. But yeah, and just the little single frame of animation style works really well for this game, and the way they use it in combat makes it feel really impactful, even though it is just a blown up picture of the involved parties with, you know, some light particle effects. Yeah, I kind of feel like I should say a bit more about the cultists, and I'm not sure if I really have anything else to say, just because, like I said, the Acolyte's outfit, a little bit on the, overexposed side, but the rest of the character doesn't read as we are trying to make this character look sexy. Because, I mean, you can't even see her face, you can just see her jawline. Can't see any hair. She's got exposed shoulders, but it's like I said, it's the same outfit as the Brawler. And I don't know, you could argue that the Brawler's outfit is practical because it's a skirt and nothing really restraining the movement of his chest and arms, or his torso and arms, I should say, which is reasonable for what he does, because he's not all about armor. Yeah, I'll go ahead and harvest again. And there is the case that, okay, the Acolyte wouldn't necessarily wear the same thing from a practical standpoint because, well, she has a different role. She does different things. But if the argument is that, the whole... Wow, nice hit. That the whole skirt and big belt arrangement is, that's religious garb. I mean, they are cultists after all. I don't know. This is where I'm kind of falling into the trap of making the diegetic argument, which I don't want to do because the diegetic argument is stupid. But I also don't feel like... I mean, again, I'm a guy. I try to be... I probably should have disarmed that.
Ancient traps lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for blood.
But I try to be, conscious of these sorts of things. But I feel like the Acolyte, kind of walks a line. I don't feel like it's very exploitative or objectifying, even though it is, the outfit does expose a decent amount of skin, but that's not the only, argument when it comes to whether or not a character design is a respectful representation of... Dang it, I keep ignoring these traps because I'm talking. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I guess, it's a slightly sexy outfit. It doesn't really... The design as a whole doesn't read as sexy, though. That, I think, is going to be my take on it. Okay, so... The worm things... Carrion eaters... I've encountered those in D&D before. These big sort of wormy things that, eat dead things. It is much more kind of icky design. Like, it's got all these little legs and all these teeth. It's got 2 rows of teeth. And they do a good job of using the small space that they have for the character to imply depth by having its tail curl around it like that. So you can have a critter that looks like, this thing's probably 12 feet long, but it fits into this nice little space. Alright, then we've got 2 more swine mutant things. Let's start with the drummer. This is like kind of the most we get to really see of a swine mutant, other than the really big ones, which I'm not sure I'm going to encounter in this run. But yeah, you see they're mostly humanoid, but again has the sort of long torso and the short legs. You can see they got full sort of, pig legs with hooves. He's got the drum and his bone drumsticks that he's wrapped with some sort of fabric. It's interesting that he has like the 3 metal strips on each of the bands for the drum. It's, kind of comes across as sort of an improvised type of armor, maybe. Other than that, he's not really wearing much. I guess he's got sort of a sash loincloth thing, and he's got this sort of back standard, which I feel like is... I mean, it's, of course, to kind of give the idea of he's like a standard bearer, you know, he's got this big thing on his back so people can see where he is, because, you know, he's the musician, he's a drummer. It's his job to keep, you know, an army's morale up, but I'm not sure how well that works, just because the pig people live entirely underground, so why would they worry about battlefield tactics? But it's a good extra part of his design to give this idea of, you know, he's a morale officer, essentially, such as they exist among the swine. You also get a really good look at, you know, their faces, you know, because sort of a humanoid head, but, you know, big tusks, pig nose, pig ears, kind of just mutated neck and cheek flesh here. Overall, very good at looking, you know, just human enough that you can kind of tell what he's supposed to do and be, while also being very disturbing. Also, if you notice, that is a face on his drum. You know, those are eye holes, that's a nose right there, and that's kind of a mouth. So, that's kind of disturbing. Speaking of disturbing, let's move on to the Wretch. So, this is something I kind of appreciate about how they did the whole swine mutant thing, is the Wretch is clearly something that just didn't come out properly. His, you know, torso and legs are so underdeveloped that his arms are actually longer, but still like the same length as the drummer's arms. It's just legs so underdeveloped. And he's got this skull kind of sticking out of his chest. He's got these, I guess those are bones coming out of his, I guess that's his butt. And those might be ribs. I suppose those could be ribs because they got kind of long, they're supposed to have sort of long torsos. And, you know, he's got almost a fully pig head, but like no neck. It's like just kind of sunk into his shoulders. So you've got this severely deformed example of the swine. And yeah, all they can do is literally vomit on you. So let's go get to kicking these guys' butts. If I haven't mentioned it before or shown it in these Let's Plays, the lore reason for the swine is basically... or maybe I shouldn't spoil it, because I don't think I've done... Because it explains it in one of the boss fights against the swine. You know, yeah, I won't spoil it. It's interesting. It's really kind of... Yeah, I'd say, yeah, it's kind of unique. Because, like I said, they're not a sort of established society or culture, really. You know, they aren't just this, oh, they're a fantasy race of pig people that have, you know, just been around and you're just discovering them. No, they are something entirely different. And hopefully I will get to show you guys what that is soon. Let's see now. May as well just do that. But yeah, I definitely think the character design in general is just fantastic for this game. I believe that extends from player characters to enemies. And overall, I feel like the Darkest Dungeon team did a fantastic job. I mean, the art direction is fantastic. Like I said, I just love the character designs. I love the animations. I love how they all look. Oh, neat. Egomania quirk removed. How everybody has their own very distinct look. They all read very well. You know, they all have good silhouettes. It's just, I'm just going to go on and on about it, but it's a beautiful example of really well done character design with very minimal sort of animation and, you know, just design in a 2D medium. And I just love the art style. I love the deep blacks and the kind of, you know, the hard silhouettes and the just how they use angles and shape. I'm just gonna have an art squee over all this. But yeah, the art team for this is really fantastic. I actually follow one of the artists on Twitter, and I feel bad because I can't recall his name. I think I know what it is, but I don't want to mispronounce it or missay it on a video. But yeah, I love the art so much. Okay, don't think I have enough to upgrade anything. Ooh, I have things in here? What's this? Sly eye patch, okay. My roster is full, so there's not really anybody I can recruit. I think we have got one more dungeon in us for tonight. Let's see, should I just keep using them? May as well. None of them are particularly stressed out. Ooh. Ooh. Do we go for the boss fight? Do we? I think we may do, but not with the antiquarian. Let's see. Who do I take instead of the antiquarian? I've done this boss fight before, so I know kind of what I want. Decisions. Could take Dismas. I don't think so, though. I'm making strategies in my head, but I don't want to say them out loud because I don't want to give away stuff about this boss. So I've got a healer with Molly. I've got Chris. I would love to take Elliot, but if I take Elliot, I can't take Heath the second here. And he would actually probably be pretty useful to have. We will take... Actually... Stray... Yeah, let's take Stray. Actually, no. Dang. You know what? Heath, you're sitting this one out. Oh yeah, that's right. I can't take Molly if I take him either. Oh well. Could take Jessica. You know what? No. Take Amanda. Unlikely lively. It's amusing. Alright. We're gonna do this. Bring plenty of food. Plenty of torches. Plenty of shovels, a couple extra of those, and some keys. I think that should do us. Alright, let's go!
My zeal for blood rituals and summoning rites had begun to ebb, as each attempt invariably brought only failure and disappointment. Progress was halting, and the rapidly accumulating surplus of wasted flesh had become burdensome.
Yeah. How's that?
It is more terrible than I can describe. An incoherent jumble of organ, sinew, and bone.
Okay, that was a good scouting right off the bat. So, boss is probably here or here. I'm going to try to minimize combat. So, shoot, I forget. This thing... You know what? Nope. Shouldn't have done that. Sometimes it's good. Not this time. Gonna go down here. Check out this box. Gonna kill something icky. Oh, more scouting. Okay, so the boss is definitely here or here. I have a fight ahead of me no matter which way I go. So let's just go here. Get a torch. At least this is a treasure room. Oh, and we've got the final swine type to look at. Okay, so let's just drink him in. This guy is taller than the other one. Bigger, just in general. Kind of more mutated, because, alright, you see the slasher definitely has, like, distinct shoulder, head. You know, head's coming out of a neck. This guy, not so much. His head's kind of jutting forward straight out from his shoulders and chest. You know, he's got pectorals here, big defined arm, the chain and the ball and chain, and he's got this big nasty cleaver. He's got this big metal belt with a sort of loincloth here, and you can see his hooves. Some kind of wrapping. And yeah, he just gives us this sense of he's the big pig, you know. Big, burly, gonna do a lot of damage. Suitable for a tank type minion. So let's jab a pick in his face. Actually, no. We need to take out these guys first. And that's why I love the Grave Robber. Yeah, let's go ahead and do a battle ballad. It's a good buff. It's interesting, too, that the slasher's primary move, Hook Where It Hurts, moves him back. Alright, we were just going to do that.
Continue the onslaught.
Get some damage on the big one and kill the wretch. I think we will go ahead and try and stun the big one. Pick to the face! I love Grave Robber. Seriously, I don't know why I don't use them more.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And there we go. Ooh.
Remind
Just
yourself
chalice,
that
huh?
confidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Go ahead and use that. That's something I haven't done, is I need to... Wow. Yeah, I need to equip trinkets on people properly. Alright, heirloom chest. We're going to go ahead and use a key. Get some stuff. Alright. Now here's the question. Where do we think the boss is? And do we camp beforehand? Also, do we want to actually try and hit some stuff after we kill the boss? There might be... Well, there's a lot of straight up fights here. So I don't know. You know what? We're going to go ahead and rest now. I'm feeling lucky.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
And since I don't have a lot of stress to get rid of, let's see, I'm going to focus on other stuff. Gonna want to make sure we don't get ambushed, because I don't like being ambushed. And let me guess, all I have is stuff to reduce stress. Of course! Anyone have diseases? No diseases. Okay, well, I guess I'll just remove all the stress. I don't think that's necessary. Or that, really. I do kind of enjoy the mechanic of mockery. What's this? Yeah, why not? There we go.
In Radiance may we find victory.
Alright, no scouting, so let's hope nothing bad happens in this hallway. Ooh, something good happened. 25 gold, yay. Alright, this is either a boss fight or not. This is the boss fight.
Contorting and ever expanding. This horror must be unmade.
Yeah. Now, the handy thing about this boss fight is, okay, all four of these things share a health pool. And I want to say it's like every turn one is damaged, it'll change on its next turn. So like that. I'm not sure what the exact mechanics are on that. But, yeah, it's kind of mean. But, it does mean that if I do this, those two are going to continue bleeding, and it's going to take 4 bleed damage every round. We are going to go ahead and, damn it, miss. Apparently. And like that, I deal 14 damage to him because I hit for 5 and 9. I do not like the look of that. Let's see. I'm kind of torn because I can only hit the middle two with flashing daggers, and they're already got the debuff, so... Ah, man, I was hoping that would do more. Okay, that one's got high protection. But I can keep stacking bleed on those. Ooh, damn. Okay. Got to heal the grave robber. Nice. Now, ideally, I would have, like, a, what's it? A Houndmaster here. Or something else that just has a lot of capacity to, inflict lots of bleed. Or at least bleed or, blight on multiple targets. Wow, they actually have no resistance. Okay. That is good to know. Yeah, I'm going to throw it at that one because those things have much higher protection, so I'm not going to do as much damage to them. Throw some heals down. I feel like that could have been really bad. Glad she dodged both of those. Alright, I could hit him with a buff, but I think I'm going to try and do a little... Well, try to do damage. Fail to do damage, but try. Oh, okay. It's not oh, it stuns. I forget what that one does. Oh, that's... Okay, I know which one that one is. Yeah, I don't like that one. And to be fair, none of them are great, but, you know... There's degrees of badness. should actually try doing the regular single target strike, see if it is actually better to do the hue. I guess just kind of assume it is, because I don't think it has... Yeah, it's not quite a 50% damage reduction. Uh-oh. Should have done a buff. Alright. What do we want to do? Stab that one. Dang it, and he's gonna be right back at death's door. Alright, shoot! Yeah, it's only inflicting bleed on one, but it's bleed for more damage. And we're getting him pretty low.
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Yeah, the buff is worth it. And the heal. Granted, I'm going to be fighting Death's Door on a couple of these guys pretty soon, but... we will overcome... Okay. Yeah, I'm going to try this. Yeah, that's about average.
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
And we're going to do Harvest again. Just because no bleed resist. No, Chris! Not my jester. Why? Why? Actually, yeah, let's just do chop.
Its destruction is a small consolation, given the implications of its terrible existence.
But that's how you beat that boss. And lose a party member.
Brought low and driven into the mud.
Let's not tempt fate, and we'll just leave now. So this is an interesting thing, this artifact, or this trinket here, the Guardian's Shield. I've tried and not made the best use of it, I think, so far. Because it's plus 10 protection, plus 5 dodge, and plus 50% healing received, but only if you're in position 4. And it's for Man-at-Arms only. So the idea is, of course, you put the Man-at-Arms in the back rank and just have him guard the people up front. And that shield puts him in an ideal position to guard. Ooh, boy. Torch above 75. Yeah, I can't have that. No, Chris! Now I need a new Chris. Alright, so I think we will see what is going on in the town, and then I will call it for this video.
I remember days when the sun shone, and laughter could be heard from the tavern.
Yeah. So who's the new Chris? Ooh, Houndmaster. Or Leper. Grave Robbers. Do like Grave Robbers. Yeah. Let's do a Houndmaster.
A warman and his faithful beast. A bond forged by battle and bloodshed.
Alright. I think that will do it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this. I will probably do some more enemy design commentary in upcoming videos, because I have by no means covered all of the enemies in the game. And I hope you'll enjoy that. And as always, I actually haven't said this before, but leave comments if there's something you'd like me to talk about that I haven't mentioned yet. By all means, suggest it. I will keep it in mind for the next video. And I look forward to making more for y'all. Have a good night.